Welcome to tonight's bingo. I will be handing this over to my assistant, Sandra Numbersworth, to pull the numbers. Sandra, will you please read the numbers for us?
Hello, loves. So, first number out of the ball tonight. Number 3, things we've watched. And the next number, things we've played, 77. 88, stuff we've listened to. 22, two queer trans ladies. And number 60, it's queer and pleasant strangers.
Bingo!
Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Dale.
And I'm not Jane Eris Magnet, and welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers, that podcast where two queer trans ladies talk about our weeks, do some skits, have a catch-up, that sort of thing. Just have a bit of a smile and a laugh.
That's us.
How are you doing this week, Jane?
I'm alright. I'm full of fajita.
Yeah, we had a lot of fajita before dinner.
So many fajitas.
So many fajit. They were very spicy. They were full of fajit.
Yeah, well,
That's what passes for comedy in my brain right now.
and also they weren't that spicy.
No, they made my tongue do a slightly funny thing. I was like, is this spicy? I don't know. Maybe I got a little cut on my tongue or something.
no.
Who knows?
Ooh, too zesty. Too zest.
There was just one bit of my tongue, so I think my tongue was the problem more than the fajitas.
Shall we
But,
tongue? Have a look. That's a good tongue. I like that tongue.
well, apparently my tongue's fine then. Yeah, it's been an all right week again this week, as ever. Yeah, we saw some friends at the weekend.
We did. We played some things. So
Played
we
some
talk
things.
about the thing we played.
Should let us talk about the things
Let's
we played?
Just straight in there.
straight in there.
We had
Well,
friends. We did a thing. You ran a D&D campaign.
Yeah, we've talked about this a little bit on the show before. This is the group of convention cosplay nerds that
Nerds.
I do various things with, and it's been a really Shish. It's been a really nice excuse, this D&D campaign, and trying to make it a semi-regular thing. It's been a really nice excuse to have my friends round.
Yeah,
And that's a thing I've never really done much of in my life before, hosting, like, my friends coming to see me. So
it's very lovely to see them because they're very lovely people.
yeah, so to summarise what we did before, this was a campaign that we ran the first one-shot twice. Once with
Yes.
you and Joe Parlock
Yes,
and
Astrid Johnson.
yep.
And that was the Goblin's Feet that's recorded on your YouTube
I believe
channel?
it's on my YouTube channel, yeah.
I think it's on your SoundCloud as well.
Yeah, it's in a couple of places, but if you search The Goblin's Feet Laura K. Buzz, you'll probably find it. We ran that same campaign with a group of my convention nerds, and we basically took Jane from The Goblin's Feet and put her into the exact same campaign that I ran with my other friends, and we'll just sort of smush the inconsistencies together.
I fell through from another universe.
Exactly. The pub might have a slightly different name. That's about it. The rest of it we can retcon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we did that sort of first bank heist. We did one a little while ago that was what was the second one we did? Oh, it was the wizard that got turned into a goat. We played through that campaign with the bed dragon at the end.
Mhm.
And this time we did one that was based around one of our players' characters.
Yeah.
One of our players was from a very rich. Their character was from a very rich family, and their character was not a big fan of the whole aristocracy thing. So everyone snuck into a very fancy party.
A very fancy party inside.
Indeed, as a bunch of characters who do not do fancy necessarily very well.
No, it's very against Ellie's everything to go
Yeah.
into anywhere fancy.
Yeah, it was a lot of characters that don't really like the rich stuck-up types having to pretend to be rich stuck-up types. There were mysteries abound. I was quite proud of my little mystery I'd wrapped up of what was going on at the party. Shall I get into what the
Tell us
mystery
all
was?
about it, because they're never going to get to play it.
That's fair. So basically, I had this thing that, our group of adventurers, including son of the rich people, snuck into a party at the rich
Son of
parents'
rich.
house. Yeah, at the rich parents' house, and a lot of rich families were there. And it turns out it was a party to be like, hey, so we worked out how to make well-behaved, obedient clones of our kids. So if your kid isn't being well-behaved as an heir, we can just make you a better heir.
Yeah.
And the party messed around with the machine so that the clones instead came out very, very, very disobedient, naughty clones.
I don't know. I quite like the bard with the was it the bard or the wizard with the eldritch god?
Oh
pact,
yes, the sort of the gothic warlock teen.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, by the end of it, you snuck in, you robbed the vault, you
robbed them blind. We pickpocketed them.
You turned their like promising like perfect teens into a jock, musician, and a goth. I think the goth just summoned eldritch tentacles out the walls.
Yeah, I nearly couldn't leave that party.
Yeah, you set fire to the house. It was great.
I pooped on the carpet.
You did indeed roll to poop on the carpet.
I only got a 6. It was a sloppy poo.
I had a lot of fun. I think it's one of the more narratively ambitious one-shots I've tried to do in terms of like trying to have like an actual surprise that like that came out of nowhere, I think.
I guess you stepped for children that pretty well.
I did step for children in a little bit. Because I've done one-shots before and they've usually been the players have been the star as opposed to trying to do anything particularly exciting with the plot. So I was quite excited about this one. I was like, yeah, I came up with an interesting thing.
You did. We managed to talk our way around an awful lot of it.
Indeed.
Thanks to good rolls.
What had been planned to be maybe a 3-hour one-shot took 2.5 hours, maybe a bit shorter. But
we had fun.
We all had a fun time.
Yeah, and that's the thing with these campaigns. You can never guarantee exactly how it's going to go.
No, exactly.
Sometimes you have to modify things on the fly, and sometimes you just can't do that. You just have to tell the story that there is, and I think it's better to get the good narrative, regardless of how long it is.
Well, that's it.
Than try and artificially inflate it last minute.
I wasn't going to inflate it unnecessarily. I had 2 big fights planned, and you encountered one of them, which was fighting the rebellious teens, and I had another one, and you just didn't come across it, and I was like, I could force it there, but that's not where the narrative is, so I didn't. I'll save it for another time.
Yeah.
I'll find a way to reflavor it and use it another time.
Exactly, that's the joy of being a DM.
Well, that's it.
Nothing wasted.
I very much enjoyed the story we told, and
Definitely.
I think we still got, like, if I can get over 2 hours out of a one-shot, I feel like I've done all right.
Yeah, I mean, like, and then when I ran that one that I did, we came to just over 4 hours, and I was thinking, like, but perhaps I did overbake the pudding a bit with some of the things, but also the fact that there was, with the one I was doing, there was 5 of you, which didn't help, and you were just absolutely kicking everything's ass, so...
Yeah, well, I think part of that one that you ran was there was a lot of beginner players as well, so that... The pacing was slightly slowed down, I think, by people having to sort of ask how things worked a lot.
How I play game.
I think that like the group we've played with now have a bit more of an idea of what they're doing, and the pace is definitely picked up.
And I think they'd also done more research into their characters.
Yeah.
They knew how to play their characters better.
Yeah, everyone had more of an idea of what their character could do, and was thinking ahead as opposed to, a problem has arisen, now let's all look over our sheets and think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we had a nice fun time playing D&D.
Definitely.
What else have we played this week?
What else have we played? Well,
I don't know, you or we?
Well, we have played a thing together. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, because is this the Yoshi?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're recording this before the review embargo for Yoshi's Crafted World goes up. It's not out in the world yet. We're recording this on Tuesday the 26th, but... We've been playing it. Review embargo's up by now, so when you hear this, reviews will be out. I think the game's on sale by the time you hear this, but well, should I talk about it?
So you start.
Okay, so we have 2 very different experiences playing this. I've played the game pretty much start to finish at this moment in single player. And me and Jane played some in co-op.
Yep.
In single player, I think this is a really nice game. For anyone that's not seen it, it's a side-scrolling platformer. Yoshi, he's a little dinosaur thing. His thing is he can sort of flutter as he jumps. He can do very big fluttery jumps. He's got a tongue. He can swallow stuff up to make eggs to throw. This particular Yoshi game, everything is made out of craft materials. So, like, the levels are built out of cardboard boxes and Some bamboo might be like a green straw that's sort of cut and peeled open a little bit. I saw what was that? I saw like a shark made out of a sponge. It's super adorable. It is a game where the art style more than makes up for the lacking strength of the hardware. It is a good-looking game, I think.
Oh yeah, it's so pretty.
Yeah.
Like the felt textures on the characters.
Yeah.
The cardboard textures on the sort of the world itself.
It really sells the idea that this is a world made out of physical materials. Like, you look at this game and go, yeah, someone could just make that.
Yeah, it's kind of like, have you played Lumino City?
Yeah.
So I didn't realise until after I'd finished it that they actually built all of the sets physically. And it all exists as one giant piece, because there's like a behind the scenes where you can see all the bits made.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have surprised me, really, if, it turned out there was a documentary of, actually we filmed a bunch of this stuff, it's all...
I wouldn't be surprised
existent.
if Nintendo physically made some of these sets just to check it made sense.
Yeah.
And there's all stuff like if you've got a piece in the set that moves up and down in the air like a butterfly, you'll either have like a shy guy hiding behind a bush with it on a little wire moving it up and down. You might have a string visible from the top of the screen dangling it.
Yeah. It's very sweet.
Yeah, it's more difficult in single player than I had anticipated. Yoshi platformers tend to be a little on the simpler side.
Well, you had the option to play it in simple mode.
Yes, there is an option to play it in simple mode, but if you play it on like the setting that's like, you a gamer type,
Have you played games before?
If you played games before, you know what you're doing in the games. There is more challenge here than I expected, and that's a good thing in single player. I found that it was pretty well paced, that as I got toward the end, I was definitely dying and having to restart sections of levels often enough that I felt like I was being challenged. In terms of the collectibles you have to find to progress, I got to the last level and was like and I'd been trying my very best to collect a decent number of collectibles per level, going a bit out of my way. And I was within a handful of being able to do the last level when I arrived. Yeah, so it's I think it was pretty well paced that if you are going out of your way to look for collectibles, you'll get to the end and be like, ooh, I've just got to backtrack a little bit, but I'm pretty much there. I don't like everything about this in single player. The biggest problem I have is that some levels have timed challenges in them where the world will flip around and you have 10 seconds to do a thing, and it'll usually involve shooting stuff with X. And if you fail that, you don't get another chance unless you restart the whole level.
Yeah.
And these are usually quite deep into levels. They're usually quite near the end. And it's very, very frustrating to go, oh, I now have to replay that whole level to retry a single 10-second egg throwing challenge if I want to 100% this. It put me off the idea of replaying levels to retry a challenge. I wasn't a huge fan of that, and it's probably the reason that I will never 100% this game. One thing I had worried about when I previewed this game that I think actually worked out really well in the end was a lot of I will describe them as gimmicky ideas, the sort of things they throw in for a single level and then don't use again.
Yeah.
I was worried about the quality of those. I was worried those weren't going to be good, because the first one you come across is riding this little dog thing, and I personally thought that did not feel right. But
I didn't have a problem with that.
That's fair.
Which is why you rode me and I rode the dog.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, fine, I'll jump on Jane's back and she can just ride it around. But the vast majority of the rest of those I thought were really good. There's one we played through together, which was the boxing.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
with the mecha Yoshi.
Yeah, big mecha Yoshi with the boxing gloves. Most of them are like that, where they feel really fun. And it's like, ooh, just one more try, and we can totally do this sort of stuff. So yeah, generally I was really impressed. There was a lot of visual and level design creativity that was persistent the whole way through. It never stuck with any one idea too long, but it also didn't feel like it was throwing new things at you arbitrarily. In single player, this is a really fun little Yoshi game. Now, let's get on to the frankly quite terrible co-op.
Well, I'm glad you said it, not me.
Yeah, no. By the time this goes up, my review will be up on Kotaku, and I am going to be quite scathing about that co-op.
I mean, the fact that I really enjoy playing co-op games with you.
Yeah.
I love playing games with you. The fact that I was getting so frustrated, I spent most of last night when we were playing it screaming at you to get the fuck off me!
Yeah, there was several times where I was like, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to play the game.
That's me trying to jump, because when you've got somebody on your back, you can't jump high enough, you can't do certain moves as well.
Yeah.
It's
So I will very quickly try and sum up the problem with Yoshi in co-op, which is there are two main actions that can happen when you're playing co-op that I think should not be in this game. There is you can land on another Yoshi's back and then you sort of lock into them and you're riding them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hit them with your tongue, you swallow them. The problem with the tongue swallowing thing is if you swallow someone, A, they can't play because they're in your mouth. You have to fire them out somewhere to get them out. And B, they lose all their eggs.
Yeah.
Which is like your ammo, and it's quite scarce as it is in the level. Like, losing all of your eggs is a big setback.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand it for times when you've got no ammo. It's like, oh crap, neither of us got any ammo. Let me just eat you quickly, and then I will spit you out at, like, that piranha plant or something, and that will kill the piranha plant, we'll be able to get past. But when you've both got full eggs, one eats the other person and then spits them out by accident.
Yeah, I would like a mode to turn that off, so your abilities can't affect the other Yoshi. Because you don't ever
you can't do it when they've got eggs.
Yeah, you don't ever need to interact with the other Yoshi because all of these levels can be completed single player. There
were some times when it was like, hey, we can make this jump slightly easier if you jump on me and then I jump and you don't double jump off of me.
Yeah, but like the thing about it was, for the few times it was useful, that for each time it was useful, there was probably 20, 30 times that
just
we accidentally, frustratingly interact with each other and, like, fucked over what we were trying to do and made the game harder and less fun.
Yeah.
Like, also, the levels are, like, they're small and cramped enough that, like, you can't help but interact with each other. Like,
yeah, it needs a bit of a zoom out on the camera.
Yeah, if the camera would let you zoom out so that you could be further apart from each other at one time, you'd be at less risk of interacting with each other. There's a lot of... also, like, when you've both got full sets of eggs, when that rarely happens, there's too much going on. There
is a lot of visual information on the screen, especially if, like, one person's slightly ahead and then an enemy jumps over their head.
Yeah.
So it's like, now I can't tell where that Shy Guy is in amongst all of your freaking eggs.
Yeah, it's a lot. I would go as far as to say, like, don't bother trying this in co-op. Maybe you'll have a good time with it.
If you want to troll each other, you might really enjoy it.
Yeah, but like, if you're trying to play a platforming game together, like, I've complained in the past about the new Super Mario Brothers games and how they are less finishable in co-op. This is that problem magnified 100-fold.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Mario's always been, like, either one after the other or, like, a single-player experience.
Yeah, you've never played any of the multiple people on screen at once ones.
No. Like, I played, New Super Mario Brothers on the DS?
The most recent one, New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe, is not so bad.
Yeah, but we played that for all of, like, an hour.
Well, I played some of that in co-op, like, on the Wii when it first released, and like that one, I played like quite a bit of that in co-op, and it definitely zooms further back. It lets you have more space. It isn't nearly this bad.
Yeah, well, and like there was that time we were trying to climb up a mobile, like a little kid's mobile over at like you get over cribs.
Yeah,
and like we had to sort of climb onto the top of the item that was dangling from the thing, and then make sure both of us were in the right position to get on top of the arm holding that thing up.
Yeah.
We were very often either jumping on top of each other or jumping in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And then, like, to try and not fall down, you were running sort of up to the middle point, and that meant that like I was too far off screen, which meant that I lost all my eggs and floated up as like a babby egg.
So I think we don't need to necessarily belabor the point too much more. Just it's a really fun game in single player. Thank you, Jane, for like being my co-op testing partner. This game don't work so well in co-op.
Not so much. What's your favourite costume so
far? By far, it is okay, yeah, this is a fairly early one, I don't mind. There's one where you can play as a train, and you're the front carriage of like a steam train, and it makes me very happy to just be Yoshi, a little blue Yoshi. Oh, you can pick the colour of your Yoshi as well.
Yep.
It remembers what outfit you pick. They're all just like little cardboard things that Yoshi like holds onto and runs around wearing like a skirt.
I like the purple one.
What, the goo bar?
The purple Yoshi.
Oh, the purple Yoshi. I think you meant the purple outfit.
Oh.
No, I like my little train.
Yeah, I like the way it's got the little smokestack on the front of it as a hat.
He wears the smokestack as a hat. It's adorable.
It really is very sweet. I like playing as a sheep.
Yeah, you run around as a little sheep.
And also, the other thing with those is, like, depending on the rarity, they've got more, like, you can take extra hits. So, like, for super rare, I think there's something like 5 additional hits.
Yes, which is really useful for each level's flower you're rewarded for getting to the end with full health intact. Because having taken some damage pips on your outfit doesn't count as losing some of your health.
Nope.
So that's a good tip. Wear outfits if you want to get that particular flower for each level.
And when you get to the bells, I think you get some health back on the outfit.
Yes, you fully re-heal your outfit and get some hearts to refill your actual health meter as well.
But if you lose your outfit during the level, you have to go back to the costume shop and put it back on again.
You can do it without going back to the costume shop. Just hit the plus button on the overworld and you can pick costumes there, right?
But you still have to put it back on.
Yeah, you still have to manually put it back on. Yeah. So yeah, what else have one of us played this week?
Well, I played some puppy games.
Ooh, which puppy games have you played?
I played, well, basically I've been a Patreon for them for a while, and they give you like a code every 2 months if you're on a £5, or once a month if you're on a £10. And I'd forgotten to claim them all, because I owned most of them already. But I got Ultratron, which is basically Robotron. That sort of twin stick shooter game. It was good, because very recently I'd been thinking, I really want to play Llamatron again.
I don't believe I know about Llamatron.
Llamatron's basically Robotron, but with llamas, and you collect little llamas and they follow you around and...
I should probably put that together, shouldn't I?
Perhaps so. Yeah, I mean, that's the one I remember playing when I was in high school. Yeah, basically you play a little person and you run around shooting things and collecting coins, and then you can power up between waves and do the next thing and get like little androids and stuff that follow you around. It's really cool. It's a really nice version. It's got like a lot of the puppy games have like really nice lighting effects.
Yeah.
That it's a very distinct art style that they have across their series. I really, really enjoy. So yeah, it was nice to play that. The other one I played was Titan's Attack, which is basically Space Invaders but with power-ups. And again, that awesome puppy games thing, visual style. So yeah, it's been quite fun doing high score attacks on those.
Nice.
Yeah, nice to play just some simple classic arcadey stuff. What else have you played?
I'm not a huge way into this, but I started playing Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, which is the new game from Software, who are the Dark Souls, Bloodborne, those people.
Demon Souls.
Demon Souls, that's the one.
I hear it's better if you don't play it like a Dark Souls game.
Yeah. So here's like where I'm at with it so far. This game is definitely not Dark Souls. It's published by Activision, who are, like, they're more known for more mainstream AAA stuff, and I think there are some ways that Activision's involvement has helped this game.
Because they sacked all the staff?
Here's what I'll say. It has a better tutorial than any of the Dark Souls do. It actually fucking tells you how the game is played, and for the most part explains its mechanics.
Ooh.
it actually, like, it tells you things, which is kind of a welcome relief because it is a departure from the Dark Souls formula. It was nice that it told me a bit what to do.
Yeah, because I guess a lot of people were going, another game from FromSoft,
Yeah.
the hard stabby thing.
How do I describe the difference? The Dark Souls games are very much about avoiding getting hit until there's an opening to get your attacks in, and avoid them no matter how you want. Usually the big tactic is dodge. You don't want to be blocking, because blocks, you get a little bit stunned during them. Like, dodging is what you should be doing. You should be backing away from attacks. That is not how you play Sekiro.
It's more parry, right?
Yeah, this is all, like, you are one person with a sword. You don't level up. There's no, like, armor to get. There's no making your stats stronger. You are just person with a sword who, if you get stabbed really badly, will just die. And all of your enemies are people with swords, usually, that if you stab them real good, will die. If you back away, it basically gives your enemy time to catch their breath. It allows them to get their sort of defenses back up. Rather than trying to back away and play defensively, you need to stay in, block shots, keep the pressure up, and go for that one attack when it comes available.
Okay.
Also, because it's not about killing a bunch of enemies to raise your levels to get your experience, you have to realize with Sekiro that it's totally okay to just not fight a thing. If it is too strong and you don't know how to kill it, it is okay to just go, you know what? I'm just going to sneak around it, and I'm just not going to deal with it.
Because you are a ninja, right?
Yeah, you're a sort of samurai ninja type, and you're a shinobi, I think, and you're one of them types with a sword that is very sneaky.
But sneaky type.
Sneaky type. Yeah. So it is totally viable to just, this thing is kicking my ass, I'm either going to sneak past it entirely, or try and sneak around it so I can get one cheap jab in, so that I, like, stand a fighting chance. Like, a lot of times when people play Dark Souls, there's this idea that if you get the cheap win, you didn't do it properly. But here it's very much like, no. You are just a one dude with a sword. If you can get the cheap win, get the cheap win, dude. So yeah, it's been a lot of readjustment. It's a lot of trying not to play it like a Dark Souls and resisting the urge to back away, to keep distance from yourself and the enemy. You've got to get in, use the blocks, stay in close, keep the pressure on. And that took me some getting used to, but I'm enjoying it. I will be playing more, definitely, but it has been kicking my arse until I've worked out, like, oh, okay, this is the mentality I should be using in fights.
And when you die twice, you get thrown back to the bonfire-y equivalent.
Sort of. Basically, when you die the first time, you are given two options. Do you want to be dead, or do you want to get revived? And if you get revived, you do get another chance at fighting what you're fighting, and you don't have to go back to a checkpoint or anything. But you will encounter this thing called the Dark Rot, which is like, oops, you're poisoned, and you might poison others around you, and there are consequences to this, so, like, don't get too much of this bad rot. It's like, if you really want to do it, you can revive, but there will be consequences, and you will have to deal with them. Which is, it's an interesting mechanic. I'm still sort of learning how to mitigate the effects of that.
And I also hear that if you do resurrect, because you can sort of lie there dead for a bit, and watch enemies walk away, but if you do resurrect, they will come straight back for you.
Oh yeah, no. Your resurrection is not a subtle event. What about you? What have you been playing?
I've been hitting 47 men.
You've been hitting the 47 men?
I hit 47 men. I was like, you know what? I want to shave my head, get a head tattoo, and hit a bunch of boys.
You played Hitman, yeah?
I played Hitman, 2017?
Yeah, the relatively recent, the Hitman reboot that was recent.
The sequel is just come out too.
Yeah, not the original Hitman, but the newer Hitman.
Yeah, I've never played a Hitman game before. I got a bunch of them in a pack ages ago, and didn't actually get round to playing them, because I think the one I wanted to play, was the newest at the time, was Absolution?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that won't run on my system, and I'm not sure I want to play the others. And then I saw like this one for like $7.99 on something the other day.
And you now have access to a computer that play
I do.
game good.
It does, and I killed some people.
How do you find it?
It's really in depth.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
I'm like, technically, it's just quite incredible. Like, I don't care that I keep seeing the same people over and over and over again, especially in places like Marrakesh.
Yeah.
You just see the same models over and over and over again. I don't care. I'm just so impressed that there's like... sometimes there'll be like unique people, like the one at the fashion show.
Yes.
You see like the fashion designer, or one of the fashion designers at one point sort of... They're in one place, they're helping out like the models, and then later on they're somewhere else just sort of appraising something that's going on, and then later on they're somewhere else having a drink.
Yeah.
It's like, I keep bumping into you while I'm in different costumes and completely not the same person. Honest, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And just the fact that there seems to be a certain amount of life to the thing that's going on.
As someone that's played those games a few times, like the thing that made me really sort of understand what made those games special is not trying to play them like a sort of Splinter Cell linear type game, but being like, this is a sandbox. The whole point of this is there is a bunch of different tools and disguises and routes, and it's just a very open sandbox with a lot of different ways to do things.
Yeah.
Like, I think that tutorial is a really good way of pointing that out, where it says, like, okay, go kill this target. Okay, now do it a different way. Go a different way. Like, there's you had options. Go do this.
Like, you can... And then, like, the fact that you have the challenges as well. Like, hey, kill them with an explosive. Hey, kill them with this. Kill them with that.
Yeah, it really sort of pushes you to be like, I don't know how I would do that.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, like, that first training level, you really feel like you could do all of the things in that level.
Yeah.
But then something like Marrakesh, just like, there's stuff everywhere, and that level just never seems to stop.
Yeah, it really is a game that, like, when people talk about replay value in games, like, this game has that.
Oh, yeah. Like I can't see myself trying to do, like, the pro levels.
Yeah.
But it's, like, if anything, it's just for pure fascination to go... Yeah. How would things... And sometimes things are different when you just reload. Just like, hang on. There was only one of you that walked in last time, and now there's three of you. Makes it much harder to kill one of you.
Yeah, it's not a game that's easy to predict, and it makes you think on your toes a bit.
Yeah, and it really doesn't have an all guns blazing option.
Yeah, no, if you get seen, you're dead.
Yeah, like, I remember trying to play Deus Ex Human Revolution, and, like, I would try and sneak her out, but ultimately I wasn't very good at it.
Yeah.
So the idea that you can, in that, you could just go, well, I fucked up, time to break out the machine guns. In this, is like, nope. I mean, you can try and hide in a cupboard and hope for the best, but hopefully there's a non-compromised outfit somewhere soon, and no one's going to be suspicious of the, I don't know, the like, security guard in this military base.
Yeah, I've been really excited watching you have so much fun with this. Like, I'm really happy you've enjoyed it.
I'm really happy watching you kill people. Sort of planning my way around and like, do I poison this person? How am I going to get this? Why is... I see you've filled literally every cupboard you could find with dead bodies or knocked out bodies.
My favourite bit of watching you play was that one point when you were in what seemed to be a completely empty room. You started poisoning a glass just as someone walked in, and they were like, "What are you doing?" And you're like, "Nothing, nothing." You just walked out mid-glass poisoning.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. I'm a good, God, what am I dressed as? Kitchen staff. I'm a good kitchen staff. Please don't tell my hypothetical boss. Yeah, there's a plot going on outside of these levels. I spend so much time in the levels, I've largely forgotten what's going on.
The plot is like, it's not the reason to play this.
No. I quite like that, I just got to, I can't remember which country it's in, but the big hotel level.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, I've heard, like, some people just randomly having a conversation about the last mission I'd just done. It's like, yeah, so the whole destabilising government in Marrakesh thing, huh? And yeah, how were they supposed to know there was going to be a coup d'etat going on? Anyway, well, I think somebody deliberately killed those 2 people that wound up dead. So I'm like, la 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 la. Another drink, sir.
Yeah. I'm glad
Not
you've
poisoned.
I'm glad you've had such fun with you're having such fun with it.
Yeah.
If you're still enjoying it by the end and you fancy another one down the line, the second one is more of the same but a bit better.
Yeah, they put all of the levels from this one in 2 as well.
I believe that is the case. There is just a lot of content.
Well, let me get through this one, see how we
Yeah.
do. But yeah, like I couldn't believe. I'm gonna keep referring back to Marrakesh because it's the one I spent like most of yesterday doing.
Yes, the one that was just fucking huge.
Lots of saving and loading. Like, you start off in that little sort of like in a little cafe in a market, and there's people everywhere, and then you sort of go out into the open air market, and then there's like the whole thing in front of the consulate where people are sort of forming an angry mob, and then there's like the back of the military base in a high school, and then there's like all of the soldiers in there and all the different bits around there. Obviously there's the printers, which is how I snuck in disguised as one of the printers, and then like from there you go into the consulate building, which is huge on its own.
Yeah,
and then I killed someone while dressed as a masseuse.
It's a real it's a really impressive bit of level design. It's
like thinking their way through all of that must have been quite a thing.
Yeah, like it's still enclosed levels where like there are set boundaries to it, and you have to ultimately go from here to here.
Yeah.
But the number of paths along the way are enough that you can sort of forget that you're being funneled down a linear corridor.
I've also quite liked that, like, I've seen ideas of, like, hey, you could be doing it this way, but then going, I'm not really quite sure how to work that out, and maybe if I went through again, like, I would be in the right place at the right time for that particular thing to unfold in front of me. Yeah, I'm quite liking it so far. I'm just on the big hotel level at the moment, wandering around going, what am I doing? I just knocked out, and I snapped the neck of a stalker. There was a guy standing by a window upstairs just going, yeah, turn around. Oh yeah, you want to look at me? She's like, clearly no one can see you from looking at perving on them from that window. So I was just like, this guy's really creeping me out. So I just grabbed him by the back of the head, choked him out, dragged him into a room and snapped his neck.
Nice.
Fuck you, stalkers.
So, have you played anything else this week?
That is all the things I played.
The only other thing I've done is...
Killer Stalker Simulator.
I played more Pokemon. I'm continuing my shiny hunt. How many shinies am I up to? I've
so
lost...
many, like 132,
133 now.
Ooh, I missed one.
Yes, I got my shiny Magnemite yesterday, was it? I think that was the most recent one. I'm getting there. So, time for this.
Ooh. Are you still suffering from that winter malaise?
Constantly.
Are you finding that basically you just let your energy levels get really, really low over the winter period, and now you're just really struggling to get going now that the sun's occasionally out?
Warming back up has been a nightmare.
Have you noticed that, like, there are days recently when it's really nice and bright and sunny out, and you're like, I should go out and see that, but then you just procrastinate all day long, and then the sun's gone down, and you kind of feel like you let the whole thing go to waste?
Depression's a real problem.
Try this! It's a Kickstarter for you!
For me?
Exactly, just stick it to the side of your head, and then get someone to just kickstart you off.
Oh goodness, all of the energy coursing through my head makes it so I can't help but get out and about.
Exactly, just kickstart the dopamine and you'll be going in no time. Out and about, enjoying the sun.
From the makers of Jumpstart Cables for Your Brain.
Try new Kickstart for your head.
Because sometimes you just need someone to forcibly kick you into doing something.
This is infuriating. I'm stuck down in hell and I just can't find a really good vegan alternative to Pop-Tarts. I swear to, well, you know, me, I guess, that I would sell my soul for a good vegan alternative Pop-Tart.
Hello.
Yes, damned eternity human. Yes.
Hello. I couldn't help but overhear your predicament. I'm Mark. I'm here in hell for all eternity because while I was on Earth, decided that I would sell my soul to you, of course, for I don't even remember what it was now. Something terribly frivolous, but I actually know a good vegan alternative to Pop-Tarts. And if you would just, give me my soul back so I can get out of hell and go enjoy a more pleasant afterlife...
So I don't even have to sell my own soul.
Well, you can give me your soul if you want. I feel like, ruling this place might make it a bit more palatable. You can give me your soul if you prefer, but I honestly just want a soul so I can get out of here.
Well, I can give you a soul.
Go on, give me mine and maybe yours too. Why not? It's really hard to find a good alternative to Pop-Tarts.
So you want 2 souls now?
Well, seeing as I'm the one who knows where to find, good vegan alternative to Pop-Tarts.
I mean, you realise I can just have you tortured for all eternity.
Yeah, but if you do that, you're not going to find out where those Pop-Tarts are. If I don't tell... I'm going to get tortured for all eternity anyway. You really think
I could make it worse. I'm really very good at torture.
It is already... what...
I took lessons from the CIA.
Do you expect me to believe that you've been holding back? That doesn't seem like your thing.
Look, eternity's a long time. You have to ramp it up.
Fine,
okay, fine. You can have my soul and your soul back, I guess, for the vegan alternative to Pop-Tarts. Chocolate ones, though.
Yeah, we can do chocolate.
Right.
Okay, here it is. I'll whisper it to you so that...
What do you mean some Pop-Tarts are already bloody vegan apart from the frosted ones? Oh, bloody hell.
I'm free.
So, what have you put in your eyes?
Put in my eyes?
In your eyes?
We watched a thing while my nerd friends were around.
We did? Oh my god, we watched a thing.
We watched Shrek Retold by the YouTube channel 3GI. This is on YouTube. It is an entire full-length remake of the movie Shrek, done by about 200 different creators, each doing anywhere from a couple of minutes to just a few seconds of the film in different art styles and acting and song numbers, and it's quite an impressive bit of creativity in its bizarreness.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everything is redone, including all the voice acting is redone, all of the soundtrack. So every characters will change voice actors every couple of minutes. There were a few standout fascinating moments. The one that I can't get out of my head is, for anyone who has watched Tim and Eric's Awesome Show, there is a man who does puppets in that. He sings a song about Salome. He just has... If you've seen the show, you will know the man with his puppets. He does an entire song number in...
He does Hallelujah.
He does Hallelujah, and then does a bit of interview about how the princess turned into a Shrek. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. I love him. Yeah, what did you think of this bizarre thing we experienced?
There was some talent and some creativity in.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone had a lot of fun making that.
Yeah, I feel like we all had a lot of fun as a confused room watching it. We couldn't look away.
No. No.
Oh, there was one that was really great in the castle with the dragon, where it was all done with the set had been remade out of cardboard, and there were little trails through the floor and sticks stuck up through the trails and little cardboard cutouts of the people sort of moving along through the trails. That was a really fun one. There's some really good animated bits in it.
Yeah, so and some different styles. What was the one with the it's when Shrek and Fiona and Donkey are walking back towards Duloc, and there was that weird psychedelic animation that was really cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of bits of this that are very psychedelia.
It's that montage scene from the original where they're sort of walking along, and then there's the bit in the hot tub, and they balloon animals out of snakes.
Yeah.
And toads.
Yes. If you've got an hour and a half free and you like Shrek, and you've got a group of friends who will enjoy watching and laughing through Shrek through a multitude of unexpected, shocking design decisions.
Yeah.
This is a way to spend an evening.
It certainly is a way to spend an evening.
For a group of us that, like, our little nerd group, we have spent many a year making jokes about Shrek to each other, and this is quite a way to spend a night. So
I'm surprised we didn't get some more Neil Cicerega in there.
We didn't.
Considering what he does, I'm really surprised he didn't put in a scene for that. Maybe he did. I don't know.
Maybe we just didn't notice it.
It kind of reminded me of our RoboCop remake. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yes.
I think that's available in its entirety on Vimeo.
Yeah.
That's just like, hey, we all took a scene and decided to remake RoboCop because the reboot's coming out.
Yeah. So I would recommend this thing.
Yeah, definitely.
What else? What do you put in your eyes this week?
I put in my eyes? Well, we watched something together a couple of nights ago. We watched that State of Play.
Oh yes, PlayStation's
VR all the things.
Basically, PlayStation's equivalent of Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, basically.
It's a little 20-minute thing with a bunch of announcements.
Yeah.
I think for a first attempt at a Nintendo Direct competitor, that was pretty decent.
It had a good pace. I think, as you commented previously, like the person narrating it was a bit.
Oh, it was corporate, polished to hell narrator voice of a disembodied person with no name.
It was, it was almost. I mean, I suppose with the Nindies, it's like very often it's a case of a translator over the top of it sometimes. But with this, it almost felt like one of the more advanced Microsoft text-to-speak people.
Here's the comparison I would make. So Nintendo, with their main directs, they usually get known names at the company, like your people like Reggie Fils-Aimé before he left, they'll get someone who is a known face at Nintendo to, at the very least, like, a couple of times appear on screen and say what's going to be seen next. It just puts a human face on what's going on. And when a voiceover says, like, oh, it's really fun, you're like, oh, okay, no, there was a human involved in this video. Someone probably found it fun.
Yeah.
Even the indie directs, they still have their pair of, they might not be known names at Nintendo, but it's still, hey, we're two people, we're at Nintendo, this is how I feel about games, this is how I feel about games, we're looking at the camera, we're going to talk a couple of times. And they never make it too long that it drags the thing out.
Yeah.
It's enough to just make it feel like a human was involved in this. But this weird disembodied voice that we never saw, like, the time I've rewatched a bit of it today, and the bit where it really, like, hit me that this felt uncomfortable is when the disembodied voice talks about her opinion of, like, I've been having a lot of fun playing this game, and, like, in this, like, rehearsed, pantomime, polished script voice. I was like,
we don't have time for another take, just say it like that. That's
faceless corporate voice enjoyed the video game, did you?
Thank you, faceless corporate voice, GM.
I think, like, they kept it to 20 minutes, which is a good length.
Yeah, definitely.
They did a lot of, like, footage announcement, release dates, this, that, the other.
Yeah. I mean, they did a lot right. I definitely agree with that. But, yeah, it did feel really... first of all, it felt slightly synthetic. And secondly, everything was VR.
Well, see, here's the thing. I'm very happy about everything.
That's because we've got VR.
Yeah. Like, here's the thing. I was saying this to you at the time. I think a big part of that is my gut says that VR is going to be a really big push for the PS5 when it happens. That's probably going to get announced this year. We're probably going to see the announcement of the wireless PSVR headset that's been in patents. So I think this is part of them ramping up to that. My big thing I would say to them is it needed something at the end that's like, oh, that was really unexpected and surprising, and that was our closer. Like, they opened with Iron Man VR. I was like, that was a good opener. It was a thing that people didn't know was coming and was unexpected. It got people excited. But they ended on, here's a trailer for Mortal Kombat 11 that's coming out next month. And it was a fun trailer.
One of the few not VR things.
Yeah, it was a fun trailer, don't get me wrong, but watching it, I was thinking back to that Nindies Direct. It needed something like that Cadence of Hyrule trailer. It doesn't
Yes.
have to be a huge blockbuster thing. It doesn't have to be like, here's the release date for The Last of Us 2 or anything. Just, here's a thing that you didn't know was coming, and you're going to be like, oh, that's surprising, and I'm kind of excited about that. Like a surprise to end it on.
Yeah, and it really didn't feel like there was... Yeah.
I think it needed another thing about the level of the Iron Man VR trailer to end it on.
Yeah, and I mean, like, everybody knows Mortal Kombat 11's coming. It's
Yeah.
been simmering away for a while. And I think I believe they mentioned sort of some new information about MK11.
You can play as old and new versions of the characters. They can fight their new and old selves,
Yeah, you
and
can do
a
that in
couple of
Mortal
new
Kombat
characters.
trilogy.
A couple of new characters were introduced in the trailer. Like classic characters appeared for the first time in the trailer, but they're going to be on all the versions, not just the PlayStation one. So
You could do that in Mortal Kombat trilogy.
Like,
So I'm not that
yeah.
impressed.
What I will say, and granted, this was 8 years ago, and like Sony has had 8 years of watching Nintendo Directs and probably should have learnt from it. But I did go back and watch the very first Nintendo Direct, which was from November 2011, and that was bad. It is a 7-minute video in which they spend most of it just Reggie Fils-Aimé talking to the camera about, hey, your 3DS, it's getting an update. You can take 3D videos on it now, not just 3D photos. Also, the Hulu app. Skyward Sword is still coming out next month, like you expected. We're doing a concert tonight. Most of the world can't be there, but if you're there, have a good time. This was me talking for 7 minutes at the camera. So, like, Sony's attempt is better than Nintendo's first attempt.
But they had lots to research.
Well, that's it. Nintendo was sort of treading on untread ground. Sony did have 7 or 8 years of these to learn from.
Yeah.
I think it's a really nice proof of concept. Like, I would definitely be up for these being like every couple of months we get a PlayStation Direct. Which is, I will call them PlayStation Directs. That's what they are.
Yeah. The state of PlayStation.
Yeah, state of PlayStation. Yeah, what else have you put in your eyes this week?
Well, we watched the Nindies.
Oh, yeah.
That's happened since the last time we recorded.
Yeah, we sort of offhandedly mentioned that. There was a Nintendo Indie Direct.
Yeah.
What were the cool announcements in that? I'm trying to remember now.
I'm just trying to get the list up. Okay, so the Spring Nindies. We had Nuclear Throne.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Which I've played on PC.
I'll be no good at it, but like, it's a good game.
High five bad at
Woo.
Yeah. Blade Master 02? Blaster Master 02.
Yeah, Blaster Master 02. First game was good.
That looked cool.
Yeah.
I've not played any of the Blaster Masters. Katana Zero?
That was that really cool looking sort of neon femme-led assassin with a katana game. You could sort of slow down time, one-hit kills. That looked really fun.
Cuphead?
Oh yeah, Cuphead. I don't know if I'll go back and replay that, but that's like a really big deal, because there've been interviews with the Cuphead developers. Microsoft were apparently the ones who pushed to get it on Switch. They approached the Cuphead developers and said, look, we've been getting on really well with Nintendo. Can we put your game on Switch? So, as much, like, more so than Cuphead itself, that's a really interesting sign of
Are they just trying to force Sony out of the market?
Honestly, like, it feels like it's a beneficial partnership, because, like, there was that Minecraft trailer last year where it ended with, like, a Microsoft and a Nintendo logo next to each other. Like, those two are getting on good. Like, they pressured Sony into crossplay, which they were like, no, we'll never do it.
Yeah.
So, I'm up for more Microsoft games on Switch, please.
Darkwood?
I don't remember which one that was.
Cadence of Hyrule?
Cadence of Hyrule, that's the cool one they ended on.
Crypt of the Necrodancer with
Zelda.
Hyrule.
Yeah, Hyrule
tracks.
art and tracks and characters.
Yeah.
You can play as Link and Zelda hopping to the music, beating stuff up. That I'm really hyped for.
My friend Pedro?
You play an assassin who talking banana.
Oh, banana, yes.
Yeah, the talking banana.
I keep thinking that one's out because I swear I've been seeing trailers for it for ages.
It had trailers, I think, at the PC Gamer show last year. No, Devolver's press conference at E3.
Strangly Thongs Season 3 game, the game.
That looks fairly cool.
Out July 4th. Pine?
Pine was the one with the animal people.
Yes.
Yes. Those moose people looked quite cool.
Yes, one of most person. Rad, the new one from Double Fine.
Oh,
White supremacy.
it looked interesting. I would have to play it to know if it'd be enjoyable.
Yeah.
You get mutations, you beat stuff up.
Yeah, I found some of the Double Fine stuff real hit and miss. I hope
Yeah.
that they are really going to start getting into their swing, because I really enjoyed Headlander.
Yeah, and apparently this is some of the Headlander team on this, so
Hopefully
maybe that'll be a good sign.
The Creature in the Well.
I don't remember what one that was.
Bloodroots.
Don't remember what one that was.
Neocab.
Oh, you're the last taxi driver in a world where all the cabs are automated now, and you're trying to find your missing friend.
And also the fascist state of constantly watching.
It's very fascist, and you play a very queer-seeming driver lady. She gives off good queer energy.
Mm-hmm. Swimsanity.
That looked fun. You swim around, beat stuff up.
Overland.
Don't remember what one that was.
The Red Lantern. That would look good.
Oh yeah, the Red Lantern. That was the sort of mushing the
yes
the Huskies trying to do the big race, and it's got the voice of Chloe from Life is Strange.
An Ultra Bug. That was the
the other one from Rami Ismail.
Yes.
Yeah, the other Vlambeer one.
The one that's a bit like
It's going to be part
Robotron.
It's part of a thing called Vlambeer Arcade, where it'll get new games consistently added to it. That seems like a cool idea.
Firewatch is coming to Switch.
Firewatch is always cool.
Not played it. Thanks to Arachnovolt in the Discord for providing that list.
Thank you.
Very helpful. Oh, that was Creature in the Well, that one. With the,
yes, the sort of it's based a bit like pinball, but with swords. Pinball swords.
Yes. Yes.
I thought that was a really well-paced direct, that one.
Yeah. I'm curious. And did they not also mention the Labo VR?
Not during the Nindies Direct, but
just roughly this is recent. It's been recent.
It's pretty recent, yeah. So Labo's getting. You can make a VR with cardboard. There've been some trailers and some hands-on stuff about it. Apparently, it's more feature complete than you would expect.
Yeah, apparently there's 60 odd games in this one.
Yeah. There's a bunch of cool stuff. I'm intrigued to try that out. That's probably the Labo thing I'm most intrigued by.
Apparently, some of it can interact with the older bits.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Something to do with the house. You can do something with the Labo house, I think. I don't know.
I'm curious to see where they go with that.
Yeah.
And you also got information out today about the special Labo storage device.
Nintendo in Japan are releasing a cardboard box with Labo printing all over it.
£5.
To store your Labo in an expensive cardboard box that says Labo on it. The Nintendo invented the cardboard box.
Apparently so.
Have you watched anything else?
I think that's everything I watched.
So I've watched a couple of other things. I'll rattle off quickly. We both continued watching One Day at a Time.
We did.
That show continues to do funny and feels.
Funny and feels, yeah.
We will probably talk about it more in depth when we finish season 1, because I'm sure you will have some thoughts. The other thing I've done is I subscribed to College Humor, the YouTube channel, to their paid subscription thing, Dropout.
Is it worth it?
So far, I have spent a week watching lots and lots of their content whenever I have time free, and I still have a mountain of stuff on there to watch that interests me.
Okay.
So most of the shows I'll start off talking about, they've had probably about a quarter of an episode previews every now and then on their YouTube channel. Stuff like Actually, which is sort of quiz show where it's about the presenter will say a piece of nerd trivia with some obscure piece of information is incorrect, and about trying to spot that's the incorrect bit of nerd trivia in there. That one's really fun. I've been enjoying having considerably more of that there to do. It's a fun challenge as someone who likes nerd stuff and is I want to think I would notice something wrong. There is also, let me have a look through, Cartoon Hell, which is sort of connected to Drawfee, which I've talked about before, which is just people having conversations while drawing things.
And also being in hell in this case.
Yeah, in this case the premise is two people made a deal with the devil to get a cartoon show, and then got hit by a bus while they were heading to the studio, and now they're stuck in hell trying to make cartoons to, if one of them is a success, they'll get to leave hell, but every time there is something wrong with their cartoons. So they're given prompts that will be something like, I like weed, I like anime, draw a weed anime. And they will come up with, like, here's our protagonist, Toku, who looks like Goku, but with a weed leaf for hair. And then at the end, it'll all get animated into maybe, like, a 4-minute long animated, like, little pilot thing.
I saw the one with the squishiest people, the puff slug and the pig sheriff.
yes. It was about, cute animals that would then become, like, the most disgusting, terrifying monsters.
Yeah.
That's been really fun. I've been enjoying... I really like the narrative layer they've wrapped around this 20 minutes of drawing and trying to come up with silly ideas.
And the interactions they have sort of while they're drawing and sort of how they're scheming that out. I also like the fact that I'm not a great artist. I like the fact that they are people who can just draw at the speed they're going, hey, let's do this thing.
Yeah, it's fascinating to watch, and particularly to see their different drawing styles at speed. I've been enjoying quite a fun little subplot that's been going on recently, where every now and then they'll be doing one of their cartoons, and they'll be like, we're going to get someone in to help you, and they'll get this artist, Julia, to come in and, like, draw one addition to their cartoon, and it's like, cartoon was shit. What Julia drew was amazing. She's getting upgraded. Like, she goes to Hell Plus now. Where, like,
she was in the Hell Plus Platinum.
I think she was in Hell Premium Platinum Economy for a while. I think she gets to be a ghost now.
Ooh.
So it's like, you're still dead, but, like, you know, you can go hang out on Earth if you want.
Yeah.
So yeah, what other ones were there? There's one called The Rank Room, which, it's basically... You know that game in Jackbox 5, I think, where you have to come up with inventions and then, like, pitch to everyone why yours is the best solution to this problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that as a show.
Yeah.
They will have a topic that will be something like... a recent one I was watching was the most useful invention that hasn't yet been invented.
Mm.
And they will each go around the table and come up with, like, offer 2 inventions that they think would be a thing. And then everyone votes and we get the winning answer. So I'm trying to remember some good examples. One of them was a glove box in your car that will keep food, fast food that you got from the drive-thru, hot and warm, so it doesn't go like that sort of lukewarm, wrong texture that takeaway food can go. You just put it in your glove box. Maybe there's a little coffee warmer in your drinks holder can keep your coffee warm. So stuff like that, and it's sort of come up with silly inventions or silly creations. That one was quite fun. WTF 101 or What the Fuck 101. It's a bunch of basically like, here's the sort of gross and sometimes horrible truth about history taught as like a detention class. It's a little bit Magic School Bus if Miss Frizzle was like really sadistic and clearly had magic powers and was just
Didn't
fucking...
she have magic powers?
Well, like, more so than normal.
Okay.
Yeah, like, her class of students will make some offhand... of detention people will make some offhand comment and she'll be like, oh, you think... Like, oh, what was a good one recently? Some comment is made about, like, oh yeah, you know, nasty people never get ahead in this world. And it's like, no, we're going to go back through time and show you all the times that, like, horrible people got away with it and everything went well for them. Here's all of the disgusting ways that sex is not beautiful in the animal kingdom, or things like this. And it's very amusing. There is some other stuff. Oh, last one, Total Forgiveness. I think I've mentioned this one before. It's about paying off people's college student loans by making them do increasingly more difficult challenges.
Yeah, I saw the pilot one of that.
Yeah, so beyond the pilot, there was one recently where Ali, the woman on the show, has to... She's not very good at singing, and she has to sing the national anthem in front of a live football game, for example.
So is this only available on PC and mobile? Is there an app?
There is now an app. The app literally this week came up, and that was a big part of what pushed me to go, okay, fine, I'll do it now, because I can watch on my phone.
Is there a PlayStation app? Anything
I
like that?
don't know if there's a PlayStation app. I know that it's on PC. I know you can load it. We could load it up on my laptop. I don't know about PS4 and things like that, but... For me, I've been downloading it to watch offline on my phone, which has worked really well. There are some other things I've enjoyed on that app, but I'll talk about them in the next segment.
Ooh, so then, time for this. Laura, we've got our new sponsor!
Who's our new sponsor?
Our sponsor this week is a very special charity appeal.
Tell us about
And
this
it's less
charity.
of a sponsor, more we're just making people aware of this charity. This is a very special and a charity that is very close to my own heart,
Oh,
but
no.
more importantly, close to our Smudge's heart.
Our kitty Smudge would be affected by this charity.
Indeed.
Tell me about this charity.
This is a charity that provides food for kitties who have never eaten.
Ever?
Literally never eaten. Since
Never,
at least
ever
this morning,
eaten.
probably never though.
Yeah, maybe this morning, but probably never.
What if never?
What if never?
I mean, that
Indeed.
is exactly how they put it from the representatives. They were very cute and fuzzy. And they were like, but we have never eaten. We are so hungry.
And then I did look at them and think, you do have a bit more, like, you know.
Very floof.
You're very floof for a cat that's never eaten. I'm not seeing any ribs or any skinniness.
No,
but
and I've been to Greece where the cats are really skinny.
I know, but apparently these kitties have never eaten.
Never eaten.
And if they don't get fed right now, they're going to die. They
And you
can't wait
wouldn't
half
want
an
kitties
hour.
to die.
No, we can't wait half an hour till the sun comes up. No.
No. I mean, they will literally scratch the shit out of it. That's how they found us. They scratched the shit out of our door. It's like, what is that noise?
Yeah, we'll stop. They said we will stop scratching your door if you do a sponsor post and, like, you know, tell everyone about our charity.
Yeah. So if you would like to just text Q and PS 60 to donate £5 to kitties, food for kitties who have never eaten.
Yeah.
And you could save the life of a kitty who has never eaten.
Who is going to die
Going
if they
to
don't
die
eat
of starvation.
right now.
Right now.
At 5 a.m.
Right now.
Right now.
Inside the boardroom of Electronic Actor Softworks.
Hi, yeah, how's it going?
Yeah, it's good. Thank you for joining me for this meeting today.
Well, anything, to advance the cause of money.
Yeah. So, there's been a bit of a buzz recently around the gaming industry.
Yeah, I've heard about her.
There's been some talk of these some streaming services. Some of these companies talking about getting into them. And
Yeah, that search engine guy.
Yeah, that search engine guy, and I think the phone people are doing something. But I've been thinking maybe we should be getting in on this racket.
Yeah, I mean, we'll stream stuff. We'll use that thing to connect it straight to the Wi-Fi, like a controller or something.
Yeah, so here's what I'm thinking. What I'm thinking. Right now, we sell people games, and they can sell those games secondhand. We don't get any money from that.
Yeah, I'm not down with that.
No, exactly. They can buy games on sale. Ugh.
No.
I know. People even sometimes share their online logins and just let other people play our games without paying for them.
Fiendish bastards.
I know. So, I think this streaming malarkey might be, right up our alley. Because all you gotta do is you let them play the game, but you never let them own it. We beat a video of the game to them.
Yeah.
But at any time, we can just go...
Video game.
Yeah, I get it. They gotta pay for it, but, they don't have it. We keep the game. If someone else wants to play it, they gotta pay for it.
Right.
We can make them pay, a subscription, maybe. They gotta,
I
they gotta pay, over and over and over to still not own the game.
And can we tier it so that, people pay... people who pay less don't get as good an experience as people who actually pay what they think it's worth?
Of course, yeah. So, we can make them pay month after month after month to never own any of our video games.
Awesome.
I think this is just a license to print money.
I like those. I mean, briefly we had one, but then we got in all that trouble. But yeah, I like the idea that there is more excuse for us to just print money.
Yeah, and this is it. And as soon as, it gets expensive, too many people try and play the game, we just take it off the server. Because they don't own it, what are they gonna do?
Yeah, or we just shut down the servers one day. Just completely shut the servers down.
I hadn't even thought of that.
How about this? We put into the contract that, we only guarantee the servers to be up, such a percentage of the time, so sometimes we could just turn them off and save ourselves some money.
We call it server maintenance.
Server maintenance. I like that. Basically, it's just, letting it cool down for an hour or so.
You, sir, are a fucking genius.
I know.
So, what have you been putting in your ears this week,
In my
James?
ears, well, in my ever and never-ending quest to listen to more Doctor Who-related stuff, or just Dalek stuff, because Doctor Who's not been in it. I finished the Dalek War series, Dalek Empire series.
Ooh, how was it?
It's interesting. So the fourth one, The Fearless, is chronologically about the same time of season 1 and 2, or sort of sometime around then, because it takes a group of people. Specifically, do you remember Mickey from Tennant era?
Yeah.
He's the main character in this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Because he was absent for a while in the. Is this like in the era in the show when he sort of vanished?
No, it's just his actor.
Ah, okay.
It's not actually Mickey.
Oh, I thought you meant the character. I was like,
No.
I think there is a plot in the show where that could happen.
Yeah, I think he's away for a while, and
Okay.
there's also the whole parallel universe stuff.
Okay, yeah.
No, so yeah, basically he is on this sort of tiny backwater planetoid where they've tried to sort of like frontiers people, and they're trying to set up like a whole community for themselves, living out on the edge and taming the wild land and so forth, and in this case, not having to displace any people that already live there. Woo! And the general of Earth Alliance forces are basically going, well, they're rather good at this, aren't they? Let's get them on board to help us fight the Daleks, because they've come up with this sort of like, hey, the Daleks, they're squishy and wussy and crap, but their real power comes from their transport machine. So let's build one of our own. So they basically build these things called spacers that are like mecha, essentially. Just huge, multi-weaponed, can fly through space, can be used for infiltration and all sorts. Just power armor. And they basically decide they want this guy because he's, smart and he's been able to keep his people alive and so forth. The thing that gets me is the General of Earth's Defence Forces is called Langdon. And Mickey's, I can't remember what his name is. He's got quite a strong London accent.
Right.
So every time he says a name, it sounds like he's saying Landon.
Landon.
Landon. Right, Landon. Yeah. So there's that. Yeah, it's an interesting story, sort of running parallel to that first story. They're basically sent to kill Susan Mendez because they feel that because she's helping give the humans hope so that they will be better slaves for the Daleks. Her plan is to try and sort of overthrow them when there is a moment.
Yeah.
But obviously, most of Earth's defence forces don't know this. They just see her as a traitor to the human race, and that she's making the slaves work more efficiently, and that's why the Daleks are going to win the war. So they send the Spacer, the Fearless team, to assassinate Susan Mendez, and it's the whole story about that, and like how he gets to be who he is, and how he gets to be sort of in charge of that group, and how sometimes in war people do bad things for what they believe to be the right reasons.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting story.
Nice.
So yeah, if you're into Daleks getting their asses kicked, that's a good one. It's an interesting human interest story.
Yeah.
What about you?
I've started listening to some tracks by an artist called Billie Eilish, who I had heard nothing about them before, and I was linked to one of their music videos, and I clicked it out of curiosity. They've got some fascinating, if slightly macabre, but like incredibly visually impressive music videos to go along with their music. They're very... It's pop with a very sort of like sinister tone and a lot of really interesting sounds mixed in with it. Couple of tracks that I was really enjoying were You Should See Me in a Crown. This next one is all one word. I Don't Want to Be You Anymore. Lovely, When the Party's Over, and Bury a Friend were all really interesting tracks. So I've not dug deeply into this artist. I don't know if there is anything
no milkshake ducks.
I haven't done the milkshake duck Google search yet. I have not dug big into their library. I don't know if they've done anything problematic, but I quite enjoyed looking at some of their music videos, so they seem like a very interesting artist.
Oh.
I'm going to keep an eye on.
No, nice.
What about you?
Well, I started listening to a new podcast. We actually started listening to it together. I don't know if you'd heard it before.
Which one was this?
My Father Wrote a Porno.
Oh, I've been through this before, yes. We both listened to the first episode of with our friends round of...
and I've listened to two and a half more episodes since.
So it's about a man whose dad just wrote a porn.
On Amazon. Like an erotic novel.
Yeah. He just self-published an erotic novel on Amazon, and his son was like...
This is awful.
This is awful. I'm going to get two of my friends, but like lovingly.
Lovingly riff on how awfully written.
And he's just like, I'm just going to read a chapter a week to my friends, and we will just discuss it as we go.
Well, they're like, boobs don't do that.
Boobs don't do that.
That's it. My dad wrote a porno.
My dad wrote a porno.
Yeah.
And the thing that initially drew this to my attention is I, on a weekly basis, do a podcast with a lovely, lovely man called Jim Sterling. And there is a character in this porno called Jim Sterling, and someone pointed this out to me, and I started listening, and then it gets very interesting when someone shares a full name with a porno character that you're hearing about.
I mean, he's a porno character in most of my fantasies.
It's an interesting one. But yeah, what have you been thinking of it so far?
I'm enjoying how bad it is as a porno, and remembering that the few times I've written erotic literature, and I have to say I think mine's probably better. If not slightly more sacrilegious.
We had a lot of fun.
We don't have to say the title.
No, I'm not going to say the title, but the one of yours that we did a dramatic reading of over the weekend.
Yeah, I think we scared your friends of it.
I think it's fine. Yeah. So yeah, anything else you've listened to?
That's everything I listened to.
I'll very quickly go through. There were two podcasts which are available as video podcasts, but they're sort of designed to be listenable as audio as well.
Like this show.
Like this sort of... Wait, are we video?
Well, I mean, we have a video goes up on YouTube.
I see what you mean.
It's a static image.
This is more the video component on the Dropout app is like the people actually having the conversation. You can,
okay.
You can watch
so just a live stream of them
it could be like a video roundtable or a podcast, but it's sort of nothing you need to see.
Right.
These are both again on the Dropout app, and I've only dipped a little bit into each of them, but they both seem very fun. Tales from the Closet is from a queer lady on the Dropout stuff, getting a bunch of queer people to talk about queer things, and it's quite a humour-filled one. It's a lot of just like having a laugh at stuff that's like, oh, that was a bit bad at the time, but we can laugh about it now.
Well, it's nice when our stories aren't entirely misery-based.
Exactly. It's definitely got a lot more humour and a lot less sort of seriousness than some of these queer discussion podcasts. Mm-hmm. And the other one, on a similar note to My Dad Wrote a Porno, was it's simply called Erotic Book Club. And it is... All of the people on the show will once a week be given a short piece of erotic fiction that has been picked out of some bizarre nature, and they'll just do a book review show about a porn book that they read. And I'm a fan of hearing serious book reviews that are also comedy book reviews of porn.
Well, I mean, you've reviewed porn yourself.
Indeed, as someone who has done sort of serious, sort of humorous reviews of porn before, I enjoy this premise. So... That is two new podcasts I've been enjoying, which, again, I don't know if I'll stick with this Dropout subscription, but, like, there's a lot of stuff on here I've been sort of like, I'm enjoying.
If you just chug through your all their content and then leave
well,
it, I guess.
It's going to take me a few weeks to chug through all their content.
That's what I mean, like...
If I get through it all, then I'm not, like... I'm enjoying enough different pieces that post on a weekly basis that I'm like, there will probably be something every day that I'll enjoy on this app, and it's probably going to stick around. I think they've got me. They might well have done it.
And how much is it?
It's like £3.50 or something a month, which is not bad at all. When there's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's at least 8 things so far that I've found that I'm like, I'd check that out once a week.
Hmm.
Nice.
Oh.
I think that's it for listened.
Well then.
Time for this.
Ooh. Are you ever trying to use sticky tape?
Constantly.
Do you ever find that once you put it down, that the bit of tape, that the end bit just sort of wraps around the tape and then it's like really flat against it and you're like, where is it? I can't find the end bit.
I am constantly asking myself that.
Right. I think you and everybody else, so we've come up with a whole new solution. It is sentient sticky tape.
How does it work?
It's got a mind of its own, and it's like, hey, I want to help you out here. Please take the end of my body and then tear it off. I'll try not to scream too much, and then just you'll have exactly the bit you need, and you'll be able to find me every time. And I'm nihilistic about the whole thing, so it'll be fine. Just keep tearing me down until there is less and less and nothing. Or I am just half a roll stuck at the bottom of a drawer, forgotten forever. But you keep buying more and throwing more half ones in the bottom of there when you're done with them, because you sort of know where you should put unfinished tape when you're done with it, but you didn't know if you had any or not while you were out shopping and stuff. Sentient sticky tape.
Sounds great,
right?
That got dark in the middle.
Well, good evening and welcome to Doggo News. Here are the main blogs.
Was that the postman? Or a deadly assassin come to kill the humans?
My favourite toy has been stuck under the couch for days, and I can't quite reach it. We rejoin the rescue in a few minutes.
Why do they make shoes so tasty if they're not for eats?
Are Shiba Inu setting unreasonable beauty standards for all doggos?
Is it time to end the reign of the cone of shame? We ask local doggo Max why he thinks he can be trusted not to lick his own stitches without this humiliating plastic collar.
And should humans stand trial for deception following claims to have thrown the ball when in fact they did not let go of the ball?
This is Doggo News.
Arf.
Oh whoa.
Oh, oh, whoa.
Oh whoa.
Oh, whoa. Story time, let's have a story.
What's the story?
We got to know. We're going to make it up as we go.
Oh, tell me, what story prompts you got this week?
Well, we got one from that there Job. Hi, Job.
Hi, Rob.
He said, but little did she know, she was also into it.
Little did she know, she was also into it.
I'm big on that one. Jay Gerkman Adams has severe indigestion. I hope you feel better.
I thought that was a suggestion for what they were both into.
No, I think that, well, maybe.
I don't think so.
We have indigestion. We have one from Samuel West. A bra made out of recycled plant material that makes you better at math. Or maths. Lydia Blizzard. Dmitri, the Russian elephant who loves jazz. So, we need a name for our story.
Okay, well, I feel like we need to get a little bit of premise together before we can jump to a title, maybe, but
Okay.
I think we could maybe go with Little Did She Know... What was it? Little Did She Know She was also into it. We could maybe pair that with the elephant was into jazz.
Yes.
Little did she know she was also into jazz. I have the idea of elephants using their trunks as musical instruments to play the jazz. Yeah, I'm picturing them like, playing the nose like the trunk like a saxophone. Yeah, what was the first elephant's name? Dimitri? Okay, so
Where was Dimitri?
here's what I'm picturing the story. Dimitri, first elephant around to use their nose for musical purposes. All the other elephants are very, oh no, that's very uncouth. This is not how we do things as elephants.
Okay. It was 1924. I was shunned by family. I don't know if this is a Russian accent.
This is whatever accent this is.
Sort
this
of Eastern European. Northern European accent. Hopefully. I'm sorry, everyone.
This is a 1920s elephant accent.
This is film noir. Dimitri the elephant.
Film noir elephant from 1920s.
I wish... I was shunned by other elephant. I had to leave my home country of Russia and go to New Orleans. I found myself in a jazz bar where I met Luna. She sing in jazz bar, and she sing very well, but she do not judge me when I play my nose like a clarinet.
not going to judge you for playing your nose like a trumpet, but I would never do it myself. It just doesn't seem like my thing.
She was so beautiful. I had never seen like of it before. And when she spoke to me in that smoky nightclub, I did not know how to react. Later, she invited me back into dressing room.
Oh, did I? Well, why don't you come back and join me?
She was getting changed between shows. She was a singer there. She turned to face the mirror, which was kind of inconvenient because at that point she was facing a mirror as she took off her dress and revealed that she was wearing a bra made of recycled plant material.
Sorry, yes, it makes me better at maths.
She was very, very good at math, so I can only assume that algebra worked very well. I do not know why, but on that night it seemed like the birds were angry. And I had severe indigestion. It meant that I kept thumping through my clarinet notes when I was trying not to. But I did so anyway.
Oh goodness, you really can't play tonight. But if only there was someone to replace you. We need your trumpet-esque trunk out there.
But who will play clarinet if I cannot go on because of my severe indigestion? Pardon me.
See, I would, but it just doesn't seem like it to be my thing.
My darling, I came from Russia, where I was shown for this thing. I believe that perhaps if you play your nose too, you can try and perhaps it will spark something within you.
Well, here goes.
And so she went on stage that night. It was incredible. I'd never heard the like of it, and soon we started to jam together. Seems like she was also into it. And so we became lovers. Until the war started, and I was shot in the head by friendly fire, because Americans shoot Russians because of misunderstanding.
This got very dark.
And that is how I was left there dying on the battlefield in the rain, leaving behind only that sweet, sweet Luna who I had met singing in a jazz club in New Orleans.
Oh, what do we... What do we call this? My first title thought was Love Blows on the Battlefield.
There we go. Love blows on the battlefield.
You've got the romance, the jazz, and the surprisingly out of nowhere depressing war ending.
It was just that period of time.
I suppose.
It started in the 1920s.
Yeah, I guess. And there we go. That's the story.
There we go. So yeah, thank you everyone for your suggestions. I used Luna Laviolette's name because I needed a name. Hydrob for the also into it. J. Kirkman Adams for severe indigestion. Thank you very much for that. Samuel West, thank you very much for the algebra. It was brilliant. And Lydia Blizzard for Dimitri, the Russian hamster the Russian elephant who loves jazz.
The hamster would have more trouble playing its nose.
No, even. I don't know why I kept also playing tracks from Twin Peaks, because it's the only jazz I know. Anyway, time for this. Do you know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Social Justice Warriors. Hello, Larry.
Oh, Barry, how you doing?
I'm not too bad, mate. How are you?
I'm alright. You need a drink, do you?
I do, just a little bit. Yeah.
It's gravelly throat these conversations when we have them.
Yeah. It's always a risk.
Always a risk. How's your week been going?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad.
You been up to much?
Oh, I've just been having a think, the way I do.
Yeah, the way you do about this time of the week. What have you been thinking about, mate?
Oh, I've been having a think about stereotypes. They're a thing that exists, and they definitely generalise in whole groups of people based on attributes that are often not accurate in any way, even more less so to like everyone within a group,
Yeah, I mean, no person of any particular group is in any way the same as everybody else, but certainly there is, you may find commonalities, but that's not enough to sort of start stereotyping a much larger group than, say, the 3 or 4 people that stereotype was based off of.
Yeah. So, here's what I was thinking. I was thinking a bit more, not so specifically about stereotypes. I was thinking about quote-unquote positive stereotypes.
Yeah.
The example always comes to mind for me is when people talk about Asian people being good at maths. This is this example that comes up of something that is a stereotype. It's a blanket generalisation made to a group of people, very, very large group of people.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will hand wave that away off as, oh, that's not so bad. It's a positive stereotype. It's saying they're good at something.
Yeah.
It's always I've been doing a lot of thinking about it and talking to people about it, and it is still a bad thing, and it's important to talk about that, I think, because when you make a big generalisation like that example about being good at maths, what you're doing there is you're doing a few things. You're creating stigma that if someone from that group isn't good at that thing, that they've somehow failed, and it's not just a natural part of being human, that not everyone's good at everything. You also, get the problem that if someone succeeds at that thing and they're part of that group, their accomplishments get lessened because it's like, well, of course you did well. You're
genetically predisposed in some way.
Exactly. And, both of those are very, they're damaging things.
Yeah.
These are actually, places where just because something generalised to a group is perhaps is said to be a positive doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt people from that group, whether they do well or badly at the thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, have you got any input on this?
Well, no, I mean, I've got a friend who's of Vietnamese descent, and he finds in his workplace, actually, he gets quite a lot of people going, can you do maths? Can you just do maths problems? I mean, you're from that part of the world, aren't you? You're all supposed to be good at maths. And, it's still racism.
Yeah, exactly. It's still like...
You might be framing it as a positive thing.
It's still going to an individual and going, I superficially viewed something about you and have assumed that this is also true about you because of what I saw and then assumed.
Yeah, black people supposed to be incredible athletes.
Yeah, exactly. It's things like this where, it causes problems for people who are good and who aren't good at that thing. It's, it has impacts, and it's we shouldn't be making these sort of generalisations in general. Not, we shouldn't be hand-waving away because, that one's not a bad one.
As I say, really, it's essentially just racism. You can colour it any way you like, but that's...
Also important to talk about this, and I think this is important because, we should probably look at the history of why positive stereotypes are a thing, is... If we look at that example I mentioned of sort of to do with maths and Asia, people from Asia,
yes.
The reason why that started in America was largely as a way to discredit people of other minority groups. It was during a period of change in America, and America decided, well, this is a group that we would like to, point out and say they're the model minority, so that it's easier to, discriminate against other minority groups, and this is why they sort of built this.
Yes.
This positive, quote-unquote, positive stereotype is so that it was easier to put other minority groups down,
Yeah.
And that historical context is important.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, it's again, it comes down to a majority white country trying to exploit a certain group of people one way or another.
Yeah.
In this case, trying to exploit them over an entirely different group of people who they'd recently imported for slavery.
Exactly. It's trying to use other people's existence as pawns in a game to pit everyone against everyone for the betterment of the majority class.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, would you care for argument?
Yeah, definitely. I'll need it.
Yeah. Oh. That's a good hug, mate.
It's a proper good hug.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm knackered, mate.
Yeah.
Should we have that cup of tea?
Oh, I could really do with it.
Yeah. I'll put the kettle on. So, Laura,
Me?
where can we find you on the internet, darling?
Laura K. Buzz pretty much everywhere. Laura K. Buzz on Twitter, Twitch and YouTube. You can find me Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 at kotaku.co.uk. You can read my full Yoshi's Crafted World review up there. You can read my article about going to Norwich and talking to some game developers. I've got some books as well. Uncomfortable Labels, that comes out on the 18th of July, I believe. That is, like, it's printing now. Like, there are copies starting to come into existence somewhere in the world. There's There's also Things I Learned from Mario's Butt, which is a book about video game character butts. The art is done, the words are done, it's been all graphic designed into a book, so that'll be, hopefully, that'll be this summer. That's the plan, hopefully. We should have a date fairly soon. I think that's about it. What about you?
I am Maniac Janiac on Twitter and YouTube. I am on stonemonkeyradio.blog, patreon.com/Stonedmonkeyradio. I'm on Badly Designated Heroes, which is a real D&D 5th edition. I'm on Badly Designated Heroes, which is a D&D 5th edition real play podcast that I am on with Becky Toot-Hill and Nick Wynn and James No Last Name Given. And yeah, that's doing fun. Come and enjoy that thing. That is on Curious Epidemic on Twitter, Curiosity Epidemic on SoundCloud. We've just got accepted to iTunes, so Apple Podcasts.
Ooh.
Yay! Badly Designated Heroes, check it out. Laura?
Yes?
Sing us out.
Until next time, be a stranger.
I will.